Nissan's forbidden electrified vehicle technology is finally coming to the United States in the near future. Nissan just briefed us over 47 minutes on their product lineup, how they're reducing costs, when they're coming out with new technologies, all the good stuff. I can't wait to break it down for you. We're not going to spend 47 minutes doing it. I screenshotted the most important slideshows, but Nissan just gave us a massive teaser of all of their cars upcoming in the next few years. Guys, buckle in, grab your snacks and drinks, and let's get into it. We're going to start by breaking down this trailer here. This vehicle up front is none other than the new Leaf. And the new Leaf is probably going to be built in UK and brought over to the United States, but it is hard to say. They could also have a different production line here in the United States, even though it's rumored to be canceled for US production. And it's possible that they could make it in Japan and import it in the United States. It wouldn't qualify for the EV tax credit if it's built outside of North America, though. So that complicates things. This vehicle over here, I don't think we're going to get this one. It's hard to say, but let's keep going. Okay, so here's a silhouette of the new Leaf. This is our best look at the new Leaf. I think it looks pretty good, and I like the Model Y sort of persona it has, this liftback sort of design. And let's get in the next vehicle. This almost looks like a new Rogue Sport or something of that nature here for the United States market. Again, it's really hard to say. Nissan is such a global brand, and we don't receive most, or I don't want to say most, but we don't receive a ton of their global models here in the United States. So a lot of these models, either I don't know what they are, or we're not going to get them. So with that in mind, let's keep moving. This thing is pretty small. This kind of looks like it has mini design to it with the circular headlights and taillights. And it kind of has a Mini Cooper sort of profile. I don't think we'll get it in the United States either, unless it replaces the kicks, but they just redesigned the kicks, so it's not going to happen. Next vehicle, kind of hard to say, but it almost looks like the new Skyline that could be built here in North America as a fully battery electric vehicle at the Canton, Mississippi plant. There'll also be an Infiniti coming later that will be a sister vehicle to it. And I think, as you see, these are the circular tail lights that we have on Skylines in the past. So not the current Skyline, I don't think, because that's super similar to the Q50 from Infiniti, but they're reviving the circular headlights. Skyline is coming back, at least in circular taillight form, but it's probably going to be EV. Here's a little Sakura and probably a refresh version of it. I gave you guys hands-on impressions of this cute $15,000-ish K car when I was over the Japan Mobility Show in October. This is also hard to say what it is. It could be maybe a refresh of the Aria, but we'll keep moving. This could be the new Murano. We'll be getting a new Murano by year's end. This is exciting. This is going to come to production. Everything you're seeing on here is 100% coming to production. And so this is vehicle, I want to pull it up for you. It's called the Hangout concept. It was teased to us at the Nissan 2030 Ambition snapshot, and it's kind of like an electric Xterra. Here's the video of it. So this vehicle will be coming in some shape or form. A Bronco Sport Fighter, not quite sure, but I'm excited for it because it's cool, it's unique, and everyone misses the Xterra. Okay, and notice we have a break. We have a break from here to here. So actually, now that I'm thinking about it, these are all potentially fully battery electric that we just talked about, and it's making more sense. These are all fully battery electric models coming, all right? Again, take that with a grain of salt. That's just my intuition finally kicking in here. Fully battery electric models as they go by, right? That makes sense why we saw the Aria, and this might not be what we thought was the Murano, all right? As we keep going, this is that fully battery electric 3-row SUV that will be coming in 2028. Very exciting. And then there's that fully electric chill out or you could say a fully electric. And it's almost like a Cube sort of successor, but more rugged, more off-road focused. Now, after we're going through this break, we're getting into gas cars or potentially e-power cars as well. And here we go. Here's the new Kicks. We just got this revealed to us in the last few days. Next model up, I don't know. This could be the new Murano. The new Murano could be going boxy. Maybe the Murano is going to try to be that Xterra-like vehicle, and I think it could do well there. But let's keep moving. This, I think, is a new Ultima or new Sentra of some sort. I don't think it's a new Maxima. Here is the Serena. Unfortunately, we don't get this amazing e-power minivan in the United States. I did see them everywhere when I was in Japan, and it looks really cool. All right, next vehicle here could be, again, well, we know it's a sedan, and we know it's not battery electric, or more than likely. So this is probably, it just looks super similar in dimensions to the vehicle, the sedan that preceded it. So it could be smaller, it could be bigger. It is hard to say. Next vehicle here is probably the refreshed Pathfinder. That's, or something similar. Next vehicle looks like the Qashqai, or the Juke, that we don't get either of those in the United States. And then here is the new Armada and Patrol. Again, it looks quite a bit different. We have different taillights than that fully battery electric vehicle, 3-row that we had right here. Okay, notice how this is lower to the ground, still very long. We have a big light bar that goes across, very vertical. And then we have this chunky guy back here that is definitely more Patrol Armada. And then we have a refreshed Frontier. Gotta love the Frontier. We will be getting a refresh on it soon, but this could be a different model globally. This honestly almost looks like more of the Aussie Ute sort of Nissan pickup truck. All right, next vehicle. Again, hard to say. It could be Pathfinder. It could be Murano, not quite sure. And again, this looks like Pathfinder too. There's just so many models that Nissan has in the world. And again, we don't get all of them. So I'm just doing my best here. And thank you for dealing with me. All right. So we have the ducks flying in V pattern here in this light bridge. And you can get some better characteristics of some of them. But again, this is not in 4K. So this is just taken off their live stream. It's not that impressive of details, and I won't really be able to give you any more than that. All right, but this, so notice how this was all blue. Now, once we cross the bridge here, and we're going from a blue background, if you look there, blue background, and then you see this horizon, the sunrise, which goes really well with Infinity's new ethos. They have this kind of glowing sunset crystal sort of theme going on with their new logo. So here's the new Infinity EV. It will be just the same as the Skyline EV. That's what I'm calling it. Here's a refreshed QX50 of some sort. It could be a redesigned QX50. Hard to say. They just need to get rid of that CVT. Here is the fully battery electric crossover that will be coming, and it will be on the same assembly line as this guy in Canton, Mississippi. And let's see here. I mean, it looks like Kia EV6 rear taillights there. But let's keep moving. Here's the new QX80. We already know what that is. And then this is a refreshed QX60. Okay, and then the sun sets on Infinity. And then we go over this bridge together with a bunch of light bars. Nissan loving the light bars here. You know, better look here at the Skyline and its circular taillights. It's the only one that kind of has that unique design. And this is kind of like that mini vehicle, mini styled vehicle that we saw earlier. Here's the Leaf, and it's more blocky rear taillights than I was expecting. And look at all the unique daytime running lights, the unique nighttime lights here. I'm pretty sure these are all daytime running lights that we see. No night beams are on with this. So Nissan's doing some pretty exciting stuff. They're going to be very different in just 2 years from now, and they'll be extremely different in 6 years from now. So we know a new Murano is coming this year. We have one never before seen model before coming next year, 5 all new redesigns next year as well, and then just more stuff coming after that. Nissan is finally bringing e-Power to the United States. We can all pop our champagne. Not yet. We can buy the champagne and then pop it when it's finally available. Meanwhile, Honda, Hyundai, Kia, and Toyota and Ford and General Motors, like everyone's licking their chops with hybrids or reinvesting back into hybrids. Nissan's had this hybrid technology in Japan since 2016, and it's been available in other parts of the world, including Latin America, since 2020, and it's taken an additional 4 years for it to get to the United States, but it will be a new 3rd generation e-Power by the time it gets here, which will have 20% more power. It'll have 10% better fuel economy, and it'll cost 20% less. And they have cost parity with ICE cars by the time they bring this out to our market. Pretty exciting. Here's some of their EV forecasts. They're also bringing plug-in hybrids. You read that right. Nissan bringing plug-in hybrids to the United States. Check this out. Doesn't give us a year, but it'll probably be 2026, I would say. E-Power and plug-in hybrids coming to the United States. It doesn't seem like they're so sure on Canada, though, with no mention of it down here underneath their e-Power launch. But yes, it's very exciting times for Nissan. We just got to get out of the doldrums they're currently in. And in 2026, I think it's just going to be home run after home run for them. Their electrification will be expanding in e-Power and in full EV by 2026. They have a new next-gen 1-ton pickup truck. Guys, that's like F350 or HD 3500 sort of sized truck. Could they scale that down for half-ton and quarter-ton? I sure hope so. If that's the case, Nissan's back on the map. Maybe that's why they didn't succeed with the Titan here in the United States, because they didn't give it a full heavy-duty lineup. Toyota's never done the heavy-duty lineup either, but we could have a quarter-ton, half-ton, and a full 1-ton pickup truck made in Mexico to be exported into the United States and into Canada. That's a possibility, and it will be in conjunction with Mitsubishi. So Mitsubishi could be getting into the heavy truck game too. What? I don't know what to think about it. It sounds too good to be true. We want more competition to the big three. Nissan might be doing it with their own large pickup truck, next-gen pickup truck coming in it's hard to say. My guess would be 2028, but we don't know. They're working on cost reduction and bettering their relationship with suppliers. They have a terrible history of relations with their suppliers compared to Toyota, Honda, for example. And they're finally letting them in on the development end of their vehicle, which will reduce cost. It will also improve production times or should I say development times of the vehicle. They are improving production times, so that's different. And they're also reducing production costs here due to modularization. You guys know what I mean. Yeah, they'll be reusing parts more than ever and on different vehicles, right? Totally different shapes, and we can get reduced costs here. Look, 50% reduction in development costs, a 70% reduction in trim parts, and a 4-month shortened lead time. Guys, this will be starting in 2027. Very, very exciting. But what I'm most excited for is this right here, powertrain integration. They're going to be reducing costs massively by sharing parts between their fully battery electric vehicles and their e-Power hybrids, reusing inverters, reusing electric motors, reusing reduction gears. We'll get a 3-in-1. So this setup right over here, we don't have it on the market yet, but it will be launched in a C crossover EV. I would assume this would be the new Leaf. I think the Leaf is C segment, but next slide is showing a better diagram here of them reusing the same motors, inverters, and reducers here. It's just amazing, and I can't wait to see this happen, reduce the cost of cars, improve Nissan's profits. This is exciting too. Look at what they're doing with their batteries. An increase of 50% battery density by 2028, but by 2026, we see an increase of 25%. Pretty impressive. Charging times are halved by 2028, and they're 25% reduced by 2026 compared to the Aria, that is. All right. Aria is a pretty good electric car. It just doesn't go above and beyond. It's just merely adequate by today's EV standards. And Nissan's going to be being much more competitive, I would say, with EVs. Lithium iron phosphate, they're going to put it in the Sakura probably. They're putting in a mini vehicle in 2028. We know BYD uses this sort of battery technology. Everyone's going to be using it in the near future to have more affordable EVs. But the high power EVs, the more expensive EVs, will be all using next gen NCM batteries. All solid-state batteries. Don't forget, Nissan has patents and development in solid-state batteries. Pilot line starts this year or early next year. We are seeing prototypes on the road in 2026, and then we see them launching it in a new EV in 2028. Could be that three-row crossover. They are also unveiling new intelligent factory that it happened in Tochigi first, but it will be happening in Canton, Mississippi in 2026. Will be happening in Sunderland in 2026. The Smyrna plant, which will probably build that three-row EV, will be happening in 2028, and Kyushu gets it in 2030. Here's their battery supply. This is important for so many different reasons, but they're using AESC, CATL. I don't know the other two brands. I've actually heard of Sunwoda before. I'm pretty sure they're Chinese. They're probably using these three mainly for their Chinese market vehicles, and then AESC mainly for North America. Much battery supply they'll have in the United States by 2030, 60 gigawatt hours. Let me get the old calculator out. So I did the calculation earlier. 135 gigawatt hours is enough for about 1.8 million BEVs by 2030. Here in the United States, let's put in 60 gigawatt hours divided by 75 kilowatt hours, and it's enough for 800,000 BEVs by 2020 or 2030 here in North America. Steady growth towards Nissan ambition. They want to have that 1 million sales increase by 2026 compared to 2023. They want their profits to get up to 6% by 2026, all the way up to 8% by 2030. They want to use their plants more, which will also maximize their cost figures. But the funny thing is here, the asterisk excluding China, because they don't know what's going to be the future in China compared to the rest of the world. It's really interesting to me how much EV they think they're going to be making in 2030. 40% of their total volume could be EV in 2030. Toyota, for example, says only 30% is going to be EV penetration by 2030. Also interesting, 20% is only going to be e-power and plug-in hybrids, while 40% by 2030 is going to be gas cars. Here is their new modular manufacturing approach that will help reduce costs as well. Pretty cool little, video that they have. Mostly robotics, which makes a lot of sense because the workforce in Japan is getting really old. Their birth rates are really, really low, like they are in China, like they are in Korea. So they're having to use more robotics, which also reduce costs in theory too, instead of having to pay humans. But man, I can't be more excited for the e-power to come to the United States. The EVs will come. They're going to be so much better than what we have with the Leaf and the Aria right now. So I'm moderately excited for that. But honestly, you guys know hybrids is the name of the game right now here in North America. They're growing faster than EVs. And their e-power technology, from what I've heard, I haven't tested it, right? It's not available in the North America. From what I've heard, it's really, really good. They're fully electrically driven, unlike Toyota hybrids. They're more like Honda hybrids in the fact that the engine is mainly used for a generator. Honda's engines can sort of link up to the wheels at high speeds and drive them directly too. Nissan's engines never connect to the wheels in their e-power hybrids. It's all driven by electric. So it's very, very smooth. It's going to be very quiet. And since the engine is always running in a very specific RPM band, to only provide electricity, it never has to push the wheels out from a stop especially. It's super efficient, and Nissan is able to get about 50% thermal efficiency out of their gas engines in an e-power setup. And that's the future, guys, at least in the near term. Nissan not doing conventional hybrid. Toyota does this, Honda does this, and Hyundai does this, but in their own ways. Nissan's e-power is unique compared to the rest of them. It has its pros and cons, though, because sometimes the engine can be a nice, helpful boost in power to the wheels, but it never drives the wheels here. So you're always limited by the output of the motor, not the combination of the engine and the motor. But again, it's a hybrid technology that Nissan could be impressively successful here. There's no mention of CVTs in this presentation. That's one of Nissan's biggest Achilles heel in the United States. They need to have, I guess you could either say more reliable CVTs or just get rid of it for torque converter geared transmissions, because they need to get rid of that really bad reputation that Jatco CVT has done to their brand, or Nissan, as you could say, has done to their brand, or Carlos Ghosn, wherever you want to put the blame. They need to get rid of it. But I got into there. Thank you guys for watching. And if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Smash the like button and peace out.